Okay, it started. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Aryan. I work at the Block as as the peer success ambassador for community engagement. And here I have two lovely people today on the show, and we're going to be talking about climate change, just the current like global crisis that we're
Okay,
going
it
to.
started.
That
Okay,
we're
so
going
hi
through.
everyone.
Sorry. And without further ado, I'll let them introduce themselves. So we can just go with like name, major, year, pronouns, you know, and just a little introduction about climate change, if you will. Anyone can start.
Okay, so I'll go first. Hi, everyone. My name is Maya Shiloh. I am an environmental studies major with an environmental impact minor. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm obviously in the environmental studies department, but I've also gradually been moving my way into block and learning more about just I in the environmental studies department there isn't that many black people around, so I've been like wanting to connect with everyone else. So yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm in my fourth year and I'm actually about to go to grad school as well, still at San Jose State.
Congratulations, congratulations, and we're glad to have you here.
Yeah, congrats, Maya. It's a big thing to do. Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Grimes. I'm a third year majoring in civil and environmental engineering, emphasis on environmental aspect. Um, what else? Pronouns: her, hers, she. Yeah, sorry, I didn't say that right. But yeah. Oh my goodness, I got interested in like part of just environmentalism at high school. I took just an environmental class, and that's when the fire started. Then I came to college and I was like, could get whatever I could get my hands on, whatever group I wanted to be in, try to get in contact, and then learn about climate change. And I was like, we gotta get this before it gets us. So when the earth started burning, don't go running, because some of us have caused it, a lot of us. So yeah, thanks.
Factual. I 100% agree. So yeah, my name is Ariana. I work the block as I stated. I'm in my third year at San Jose State, majoring in African American Studies and Justice Studies. I think like I got just like Aaron, I got interested in like climate change in high school. I think I took an environmental science class too, and like I just started learning about everything, and I was so shocked because like it was just out of my realm of thinking. Like I never even thought about it. Like sometimes we just go through life and we only think about the things that matter to us, and that didn't matter to me at the time, so I wasn't thinking about it. But when I learned about it, it really started to open my eyes, and I became aware about the environment around me and how I affect that environment. So without further ado, um or were you when did or me and Aaron answered, but Maya, you didn't really talk about how you learned about climate change or anything. So do you mind sharing like when you got interested and stuff?
Yeah, so I got into climate change kind of during high school. I was taking like a super crazy chem class, and my teacher, he had his name is Mr. Pringle, love you. He had mentioned that, oh, we didn't have some of the materials we needed because like of climate change, and I was like, that's crazy. How does that work? So he told me all about it, and then I was like, okay. So I went into college kind of with that like in the back of my mind.
Cool, cool, yeah. When I came into college, it was in the back of my mind too. Like I was already trying to just like make myself better and like like stop using plastic so much. Make sure you're taking shorter shower, like the basic stuff. But then I really got deep into it when I took a global warming class at SJSU with Henry Bartholomew. That's like my favorite teacher at SJSU. I really love him. So if you ever watching this, Henry, please just know, like you really opened my eyes. But yeah, that class really took it to another level for me. And like I advise anybody to take that class because it's just like it's essential. I feel like not enough people are talking about this, especially in our community. So it's like very like I was one of two of the only black kids in that class, and like I was so interested, sat in the front row every day, like answering all the questions, just really immerse myself. But that's neither here nor there. So my next question would be like, what's the most shocking thing that you've heard about like climate change or just the environment? Like what was like wow, like your jaw dropping moment?
For me, I took I forget the actual class name. I think it was like ENVS 10 is introduction into, I think, environmentalism. And the fact that environmental racism, plays a big fact. And like when it comes to climate change, we're gonna like red line areas are gonna be hit the hardest. And I was just like, that kind of like was mind boggling, because it's like, okay, I'm Black, all the struggles I know come with that. But then on top of this, because I love, the earth, and I was like, dang, I'm at the bottom toll with this too. So I was like, well, okay, definitely got to fix that. So yeah, that was it.
For me, the most shocking recent fact that I've heard is about how the worst climate change impacts will be like irreversible come 2030. I think this was mentioned a few years back, but I don't know. For me, I worry that sometimes what I'm doing is for naught, and that is to say that I worry about the goals that I'm working towards are kind of unachievable. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's tough, but I gotta try. So
I agree. And it's funny that you said that because that was going to be mine too. Like 2030 is going to be nothing we can do. Like it'll be irreversible. And that's just sad because I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 20. I'll be 21 in June. And like I'll be 30 around that time. And it's like that's when we're supposed to be in our prime, living a life. And that's when the earth is really going to start declining. And it's like, wow, like are our lives even like worth it? What are we doing right now? Like if the earth's going to be, in who knows what state at that point of time. So it's just like that's just so crazy to me that like, a lot of people don't think about their impact on what they're doing today and how it can affect tomorrow. So I think it's like super important for all of us to just like think about, how our daily lives and how our leisure activities and like what we think is okay or, just the privileges that we have may affect the world. So thank you guys for answering. I 100% agree with everything. So like that moves me to my next question. Like, what have you guys been doing like on a day-to-day basis to decrease your carbon footprint or make sure like you're just in the best way possible, not killing the earth? Because I know we all have a part in this. It's inevitable almost, just the way society is set up. But
okay. So I used to be really wasteful in the products that I bought, whether it be like clothes, beauty items, or just my food habits when it came to packaging. However, once I learned how easy it was to cut down on those habits, I started to do so. For example, and to answer the question, the most realistic and helpful tactic that I used to cut my carbon footprint was to reuse everything. This means if I go out and I don't finish, I use my own takeout box, or if I order online, I make sure to keep the packaging that it came in and try to be reusable as possible. It's not much, but I don't know, it's something. I think it's pretty significant. Like if even if just like my household did it, like that's like 7 people, and that's a lot. That's a lot of like waste. So
First off, that's not insignificant. That's big, because one person can spark a lot, and you never know who like that could touch and can change their mind. For me, first like coming home, I was definitely like eating out a lot, and then I really love Pete's. But and one thing, okay, hang on, I'm gonna like sidetrack real quick. So before COVID hit, I used to like go to Starbucks and get my water filled up. But 2019 December, they're like, no, we can't take your water bottles. They didn't say that rude, but they're just like, we can't take it. I'm like, you've been taking them all this other time. What you mean? And so like, we just can't fill them up anymore. I was like, they're like health reasons. I was like, okay. Then COVID hit. I was like, see, but y'all ain't tell nobody. But it's all good. So, one thing I stopped doing was eating out so much. I would go like get these plastic cups, and it's hard, not just because you recycle something doesn't mean it's actually being recycled. So I decided to just like buy some tea, make it at home. I've been making orange juice, apple juice, just trying to cut down like on packaging with groceries. Like we really like mushrooms and spinach, trying to buy like the leaves instead of the leaves in the package, the whole leaf. So just little things like that.
it's so funny that, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
It's funny that you mentioned Starbucks because I happen to be a barista there. I've been there for like 4 years. So I remember when we stopped taking water bottles around that time, and they told us it was because, a lot of people had started getting sick, but it was like, just like contamination and stuff like that. So they're like, okay, how is this happening? Maybe we should stop accepting cups. And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and I was like, you know what?
They knew.
Yeah, they definitely, I feel it.
I don't doubt it at all. I'm pretty sure they knew too. I was just gonna say, yeah, I agree with both of you guys. Like, I do agree to like some extent that like what we are doing is kind of insignificant on the grand scale, but at the end of the day, it matters so much because like what we change in our lives, like in the future, I know I want to have kids. So like just me implementing that in my life and making it a daily habit will definitely like go on to them and like make them more, like knowledgeable on what we're doing. But for me, I think I do a lot. So, I mean, not a lot, of course, but I try to like not use plastic bags at the grocery store at all. So, like, I always bring my own reusable bags. Like, I keep them in my trunk, I keep them at home. When you pick up like little, like apples, let's say you go to like Trader Joe's or something, you get apples. I don't use their like plastic bags. I always bring those little like net bags. I think I seen Aaron with one. Didn't you have like a net bag? And I asked you where you got it from.
Yo, I had it.
I need that.
Mhm.
Definitely like try to carry reusable bottles, like no more plastic straws, like little stuff like that really matters because like if we think about how much plastic is out there and like where does it even go? Like just
They
globally,
don't.
they don't
They
even know.
don't care though.
They don't care.
They
And
don't
it's
care.
all about profit and globalization has really like it got us thinking like when we take out the trash, it's no longer our problem. Like we don't even see it, we don't even care about it. But like I just try to think like where's this going? Who is it affecting? And like I feel like as long as we're thinking about it, that's the first step because a lot of people aren't even on that. So the fact that we're putting ourselves in the position, my environmental science, getting your master's degree, Aaron, you're getting your major, and I know you'll do great things in engineering, like that matters. And as long as we're on that wave, like we'll influence someone and that person will influence another person. So that's what I think is important. So I'm glad you guys brought up, the things that you do in your everyday life because it may seem insignificant, but, at least we're doing something and we're trying. So proud of you guys. The next question is like, what are sustainable habits that you would like to implement for yourself in the future? Like when you get a car, house, raise kids, that type of thing, if you guys want to.
I know for me, because I've been thinking, I really want to live in it's not called a little home, but basically it's only like so many feet by like so many feet. Like a lot of people are, yeah, in a tiny home. I want to build my own. So I think by doing that, sometime maybe when I'm like 25, got all my schooling done. Huh?
I said I love that.
Yeah, I could put some solar panels on there, like produce my own energy. I could like stay in one place, have a little farm, things of that nature. But definitely when it's like time to settle down and have like an actual family, you're gonna need a bigger house, of course. I definitely want to implement a like a close the loop circle, definitely just like use our own waste and not to produce too much waste. So the solar panels, growing our own food, hopefully if I have enough money, I could like have people to help me farm and
Will,
stuff.
you
Huh?
will. Speaking of
Yeah.
you
Thank
will.
you. Yeah.
I agree. I love the idea of tiny homes. Like I'm obsessed with that. I'm always watching like Netflix documentaries or little docu-series on tiny homes. So yeah, I love that idea.
And it's actually there's a lot of Black women doing tiny homes.
Yeah, and
So
it's becoming more popular because it's like
it,
we don't even need all this space
no,
to think about it. Like people dream to get like 10 bedrooms, these big old mansions to like live with themselves or like live with 3 kids. And it just
That
doesn't
just
make
means
sense.
a lot of cleaning. That's all I
yes.
who
Yeah.
would do all that. That
Who's
much.
gonna dust your living room that you use?
Exactly.
And even that's killing the environment. That's polluting the air.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's just a whole nother story. But yeah, I agree with Aaron.
Thanks. Oh wait, just another little tidbit. I also like one of the reasons that I want to own a tiny home is because I have kind of I'm not a hoarder or anything, but I like a lot of stuff and like
Tell me about it.
it's so like once I learned about like the harm that comes from plastic because I used to really be like hard on like the beauty products. I was like no more, no mas, no more trips to TJ Maxx, like cutting it off. But the clothing, I know fast fashion is bad, but I okay, I do secondhand shopping, and that's even worse because I'm just like I'm buying all this stuff and it's good, but everything in a timely fashion, I guess. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Everything has something wrong with it, but as long as you're trying,
that's
like
true.
fast fashion is horrible in its own
Yeah.
way. So, the fact
Mhm.
that you're even doing like thrifting, whatever type of fashion you do, it
Yeah.
makes it better.
Thank you.
So, sustainable habits. For me, I like to. I would eventually like to completely cut down my meat consumption. As of now, I hardly eat it. I only choose to eat meat if it's like super high quality, because if I'm gonna put my body through that, I might as well make sure it's good, you know? Hopefully in the future I could be vegetarian, but I kind of like what I'm doing right now because honestly, like how often do you go out and eat good meat? It's not that often. So honestly, at this point, probably like 3 times a month, if that. And I know a lot about like meat consumption and stuff like that. So I know just doing that is cutting down a lot of waste. So I'm trying to
Absolutely.
put that out through my household and then it'll be great. But we'll see.
I feel like it's so many like ways we could take this conversation as far as like environmental justice and climate change. Like it could go with our daily habits as far as like plastic and all that. It could go to our eating habits, you know, the space that we take up in the world. So like I like the fact that you mentioned like just consumption and what you're consuming because that definitely matters too. For me, so like I was vegetarian for 3 years. I was down for it. Like I went crazy, but I just stopped randomly because I was like, I just got bored with it because I felt like when you're taking care of your body, you have to be super intentional on like the type of proteins you're getting and all that type of stuff. And I felt like I wasn't doing that. So I wanted to wait to give myself like the proper time and energy to like invest in learning before I started like fully not eating meat again. So eventually I want to get back to it. I do cut down on my meat though. So yeah. But as far as like sustainable habits I want to create in the future, I definitely want to have like solar panels on my house. I want my house to be completely eco-friendly, whatever that means in the future. I want to definitely have a garden. Like I love just like fruits and vegetables. Like that's like my thing. Like that's probably what I consume the most, like fruit. I really love fruit, so definitely want to start my own garden and like you know how Art, I mean not Ariana, how Aaron said, like close the loop. I feel like that's really important. You know, just try to utilize everything and just see if you can reuse it. So I really like that idea. But there's so many things that we could do in the future, like as far as just to decrease our impact. But yeah, it's all about just like learning what you can do, how you can do it, and where you see fit. So I like you guys' perspectives. Okay, now we're gonna shift the conversation a little bit, just a tiny bit. So like, how do you guys feel about like the Black community and sustainability and like environmental justice? Like, is there a lack of education in the Black community? Is there just a lack of like investment in education in the Black community? Like, what is it? Why don't I'm not gonna say why don't Black people care because we all care. We're Black, so we can't say why don't Black people care. But I know me personally, like when I'm with my family or somebody, they're like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" You know. So it's like some people don't understand in our communities. And why do you guys think that is?
So, whew, okay, so this is a loaded question because I believe that answering this, as you mentioned, with a simple yes or no could be casting an unnecessary umbrella effect. I could say yes, there is a lack of awareness in our community, but I strongly believe that this is because we are simply too busy fighting other fights to be aware of this very large environmental issue. And how it affects everybody. In the environmental department, I get a lot of people asking me why I think Black people are not joining. And the simple answer to that is because Black kids right now are trying to become doctors, police officers, lawyers, and judges to like prevent seeing their friends, family, or other Black folk from being ignored, discriminated upon, or dead. However, on the other side of that, I could say no, there is not a lack of awareness because as of recently, there's been a huge wave focused on environmentalism, and I don't know. With that brings environmental justice, and by default, Black people are absolutely beginning to understand what this means for their lives. So,
Mic drop. Okay. That was great. I really loved that answer because I do agree. Like it's a double-edged sword. You know, like Black people definitely love environmental justice. You know, like we're the original like farmers, planters. You know, even if you think back into like African history, like their love and tending to the environment was like no other. So how could we say that Black people don't care? But you know, there is just Black. I always think about like when I was talking to my mom about this a while ago, like a lot of Black people are just like Black people in lower socioeconomic with lower socioeconomic backgrounds. Like if I work a 9 to 5 job and I have 2 kids that I have to tend to, and all these other like racial issues going on in the world, how do I have time to think about anything else or like invest my education in anything else? So like you brought up an amazing point. And hi George, I see you joining in. Thank you for coming. We're just talking about like the double-edged sword between like Black people knowing about environmental justice things and also like not knowing and why they don't know and why some know. So if you want to join in on the discussion, feel free.
No, y'all definitely took the words out of my mouth. We have so many other struggles to focus on first, to give our energy to, that this one is just kind of on the back burner. So it's not that we don't love, because just like Ari said, we've been tending to the earth since dating back to Africa. That's definitely not it, but it's just we have other things that are more concerning to us. So yeah. And also that's true, we can't like do the umbrella effect, like not all Black people, just some, because I definitely like environmentalism was in like the more I kind of got into it and delve into it, like how did I even come to this? Environmentalism was first introduced to me by my parents, so it's definitely there. It's probably just it's a smaller percentage, of course, but it's still in there a little bit. But yeah.
Facts, facts. I was just gonna say something, but I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I 100% agree. Like, we just need to like, I feel like as long as people like us exist, we know people who don't know about this. As long as we're educating them, like that's all that matters. And it'll just be a domino effect. Like I learned about this. I'm instantly telling my mom, she owns a restaurant, like you need to compost, you need to think about your packaging, like why do you need straws? Why can't you just have cups? Why can't, they bring their own cup? Like just being innovative in our approach to everything just matters so much. And as long as we're like, I'll say this and I'll continue to say it, like, as long as we're thinking about it, that's what matters. So thank you. I appreciate both of your thoughts. And so like my last and final question is just like, how can we educate our communities, like not even just like the Black community, but just like people who don't know about this, like how? I know George today, for example, prime example, he texted me like, I want to come today, but like I really don't even know about this topic. I'm just like, come learn. But like, how do we like foster that knowledge in our communities for people who've never taken an environmental justice class like we did, or just, not really thinking about it?
Hello, everybody.
What's up?
What's the deal?
Hey George.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Did you bring questions for us or what?
I have no questions. I'm just here to listen in.
For sure, for sure.
All right.
Okay, so I could answer first. How do we increase environmental awareness in the Black community? So, by incorporating a conversation or even a mention of environmentalism in these types of events, I feel is bringing awareness. Like, when someone compliments you and you said, like, sort of hold on to it, whether that just be for like 15 minutes or even months later, like talking about the environment could have that same effect. Like, if you just take a second to think, like, oh, wow, I love Snoop Dogg's new cooking show, but isn't throwing away all that food like super wasteful? I can guarantee that you'll go through the rest of your day wasting absolutely no food, or considerably less, because now you realize how easy it is to change that one little thing about your habits. So basically, what I'm saying is to increase environmental awareness in the Black community, don't hesitate to bring up or just think about the environment in like your day-to-days.
That's good. I definitely think and this is just a point I pulled from you, but like getting our stars to like if they got into environmentalism, it would dwindle down. Like if Meg was an environmentalist and Snoop Dogg and like Cardi, boom, instantly. Okay, we got to clean this up. I just think that's like the fastest way it would grow, because I don't really know. We could talk to people, but something like if Beyonce harvests her own honey, she gave it out as like a Christmas gift or something, and like if she just we were able to get her to like do a certain campaign, like it would blow up. So, yeah.
I agree. I agree. I always think about like Meg's Hot Girl Summer. Like, how isn't that being utilized to like market climate change? But
It's true.
Well, kind of it is, because I'm like a huge Meg fan. She actually hosted a huge beach cleanup, and I think it was in LA. It was like, pre-COVID, so it was like 2019. But I was like, see, I love that. She was like, all the hotties, like, put on your bathing suits. We're gonna go clean the beach. I was like, yes, but yeah. So she's trying.
yes, she is. I do remember that. I totally forgot about that. But I
Yeah,
remember.
me too.
Yeah, we just need more of that.
I got a question. Does like recycling and sustainability, does that fall into this topic of
Yeah.
climate change? Is that you know what I'm saying? Does that fall underneath it? Just hit me with a thumbs up, thumbs down. That's all.
It does. But recycling gets kind of complicated because recycling, especially here, they're not really, it's just all going to a landfill, literally all of it. So the best way to recycle is to essentially reduce as you, or just cut out the consumption completely. Like, for example, instead of recycling the water bottle, how about just don't buy the water bottle, So that way you don't even have to worry about it. So yeah, that's just one example.
Okay. Speaking of stars, I mean, I know Drewski, and y'all know who Drewski is, right? He got his little show or little podcast that he talks with Snoop Dogg and P. Diddy. They have a little collaboration. I don't know if y'all watched it, but they talk about, climate change, carbon footprint,
Climate change?
sustainability. Huh?
They talked about climate change.
I mean, Drew, I don't know if he like directly talked about it. He talked about like not using water bottles, use like what is it? A biodegradable like gigantic bottle instead. Plastic. What is it? Watching the cars that you drive. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that, but it's interesting that he talked about that because it'd be like Drewski out of all people, he's a clown, but we love it, we love it. So like, does anyone? I just thought about this. This wasn't even in the line of question, but like for people who are watching who may not know what climate change is or like have no knowledge but they want to learn, would anybody just like to give like a 30-second introduction to climate change just on the spot? Can they? Will they? Just like whatever comes to mind, just say it. Both of you. I'm gonna put both of y'all on the spot because I know you guys are both capable. So we gonna do it.
All right, I got something. So how I learned about climate change was, okay, the earth has a flu. And if your body has a flu, like the human body has to be between like 98, right, degrees. And if we go up to like, yeah, somewhere between that, somewhere in the 90s. And if we go up to 100, it's not good. And if we go down, in the 80s, it's not good. So the earth's, degrees is going up and it's not good. It's getting sick. So we need to bring it down back to its natural temperature. But the only way to do that is by helping it and not harming it. So, yeah.
To add on to that, as just like a little tidbit, little thing, this really helped me understand climate change. Like, it's really easy to boil some water. It'll take like 5 minutes, but it takes a very long time for that boiled water to get back to room temperature or even back to cool again. So once I heard that, I was like, this all makes sense. I don't know. That helped me a lot.
For me, I would just say like if you're in California and you love California, California is changing. Everybody sees how the summer is super hot. They're talking about all these weird natural occurrences that's happening. That's climate change. Or when you look outside and before COVID, they're like, we got. I don't know if any of you guys were at we're at SJSU when like there was the fires and we all had to wear a mask and we're like, why do we have to wear a mask? That's climate change. So the things that we can do to stop climate change is just like Maya mentioned, don't think about recycling. Don't have to recycle by, buying reusable water bottles, thinking about your daily impact. How much are you driving? How many lights on are in your house and how many rooms are you in? How long are you in the shower? Are you running the shower water before you're in the shower? Those things matter. So it may not be big, but it definitely helps. And we're running out of clean water too. So if you like water, think about that too. Any more questions, George? Like we need them coming. Come on, bro. We need them.
I'm listening. And y'all educating. I'm learning something. I'm a child right now. So, this is interesting right here.
Glad to have you learn.
If something comes up, I'm gonna say something.
I was just about to say we could just have a conversation like what you said from California. I remember, okay, so I played tennis in high school, and all 4 years we had to play because tennis is it's worldwide, it's year round, but for high school it's only during like the summer. So I remember it was hot. It got hotter each year. I graduated in 2018, but from like 2014 to 2018, I noticed a difference in how we got less and less rain. And also one thing I did notice or picked up last year was that Texas got snow, you know? That's new. That's not supposed to happen, you know? So yeah, just noticing a whole bunch of different things, and that's kind of scary because, like you said, by 2030, you know, there's gonna be some things we can't change back, and it's just like I'm worried because, like, you know, I love them. Okay, so my parents are on the older side, but they're gonna be gone. I'm gonna still be here. I ain't trying to, you know, I want to go through nothing. I want to die of natural causes.
The crazy thing about the Texas stuff was like that one guy who's a politician tweeted like, "I'll believe climate change when Texas freezes over." Now look, and it's like how can you like? I don't even understand like how people are against climate change. It
Dumb.
just doesn't even make sense. Like it's like being against, oh, the sky isn't blue. Like I don't know.
One interesting thing that I thought of while you were talking, Aaron, was you were talking about like Texas and it being freezing. I'm like, yeah, it's getting cold over there, it's getting hot over here, but like we are more or less we're covered, we're in homes. But what about the people who are homeless, who literally have to deal with this on a daily basis? I worry about them a lot. Like it honestly, whenever there's like a huge natural disaster or anything, I feel like devastated. Like I feel it in my heart. It's just really, really sad. So do you guys, what are some ways you think we can help homeless people in terms of climate change as it only gets worse?
I love that you brought that up because like I always think about that too. Like when it's storming outside. Like I'm from San Francisco, so the homeless population is large sometimes, and there's only a minimal amount of homeless shelters, so people are left in the street. And it's like we need to like do a better job attending to those communities during those hard times. But I did see, I don't know where this was at, but like they built like small little tiny homes for homeless encampments. George, you want to say something?
Was in LA?
I think so. I think so. But they were really nice, and it was a small plot of land that had all these houses. And I think like if we did something like that, it would not only like clean up the streets, but also help people because it doesn't cost a lot of money. We have all these abandoned buildings all across the United States, all across the world, these plots of lands that are not being used, but we have these people on the streets who are literally like dying and in a crisis, and we're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I saw that last year, the plots and everything. I think that's really good. One thing, and I'm not sure how y'all feel about him, but oh wait, no, Jeff Bezos stepped down, but from Amazon, I think somewhere it's in Richmond and it's a mall that closed down. I don't want to say Richmond or Oakland. Um,
Are you talking about Hilltop?
yeah, yeah. And so the mall is completely like, I guess not a lot of stores are there, and they're gonna build like a Amazon base where Macy's used to be, and they're gonna like allow, or I don't want to say like take, but allow homeless people to come and work and also sleep and eat, have a place to stay and have a job so to get back on their feet, or they could stay there if they want as well. So I think that's one good thing that's going on.
That's cool. That's cool because I don't know who's from. Are you guys from the Bay? Any of you? I know Aaron. You're from. Aren't you
Do
from?
you count it? I'm from Antioch.
Oh yeah, you're from Antioch. You're from
Antioch
the.
is not the Bay, girl. I'm
I
sorry.
know. I ain't trying to be a part. I'm just saying. Do you count it?
Line, okay, we're gonna give it.
I'm from San Jose, so.
Okay. George, he from LA, so we won't even mess with those kind like that.
I'm not from LA, man. I'm from the dirt.
I'm down.
The desert.
Okay. I'm different. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so Hilltop, man, like it's been downhill since Pac died, y'all. Like since like 2010. Nobody's been going there. The mall is like basically vacant. It's probably like 10 active stores. And it's like they have this huge plot of land that's not even being used. So I like that idea, the fact that they're building an Amazon base. I don't know like the gentrification that might come from that and all those type of logistics, but the fact that they're thinking about like intentionally using people who are in a crisis, I think that's a good idea. But what are other ways like do you guys have any like cool things that you guys have ever thought of to do? Like for example, at the center, I wanted to before COVID, I wanted to like plan an event that collabed with the garden, the SJSU garden. Aaron, I think you remember. But
You did do one though.
It closed, remember? Remember we went and it was closed.
That's right. Yes.
Like
that was hot.
I was hot too because we all carpool over there. We was ready. Aaron had her little You had your little outfit on.
Yep. I was ready to farm.
You was ready to farm, and I was
Yeah.
ready to farm. We was ready to farm.
Yep.
Clothes. So like I definitely want to create more like intentional programs like that to just like have fun in the garden and learn, because I'm from the city. We don't, it ain't really no gardening, nothing like that going on. Like some people do, but like it's not a heavily practiced thing. So like I definitely want to get back to my roots in that way and like help educate others.
That's true. I know in New York they have a lot of rooftop gardens. So I was thinking, because I went to New York in 2016 and I was like, why doesn't SF have this? Because we got a bunch of skyscrapers too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that'd be pretty cool to implement. I don't know. I gotta think about it. Somebody else go real quick.
George hasn't talked in a minute.
I'm over here. I'm researching right now for y'all.
Yes, do
I'm
it.
just looking.
We
I
need
have no
you.
knowledge on this topic at all.
Okay, but what have you learned?
Any questions that you, I don't know, any burning questions? Something you want to know about?
What are new renewable energies out there? Are renewable tech, like what is the new technology out there?
They're like implementing technology to use like water to like create energy. Like I heard new stuff around that. I heard it's really expensive though and time consuming, but they're trying to use like waves to generate electricity. I don't know how, I forgot how. But like in California, we use a lot of like wind, like with those big old like, I forgot what they're called.
Wind turbines.
Yes, the wind turbines.
Mhm.
Solar is becoming really popular, but that's all I really know. I don't know about you guys.
One interesting thing about solar is that I don't know as of currently, but I know as of like 2 years ago, they still couldn't figure out a way to recycle them. Like solar panels are great, but they have a life expectancy of like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. But then after that, they do not know what to do with the panels. So I'm like, shouldn't you have thought about that before you made them? These are like really important conversations. Like renewable energy is great as long as you have a way to recycle or reuse what you use for the renewables. I don't know, something interesting.
Dang, I didn't even know that. I really didn't even know that. That's
That's
crazy.
fine.
Oh, go ahead, Erin.
Go ahead before you gonna lose it or no?
No.
I think one thing I got a problem with like the whole environmentalism thing is how expensive what is it sustainability is. Because I decided like, okay, I love Dr. Bronner's his Castile soap. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and refill my bottle. I go to Berkeley to a refill site and it's like I could have just bought a bottle for the amount of like how much they charge me to refill. Now I'm not gonna say the price because I shouldn't have bought that much for soap, but they already filled my bottles up and there was no take backs. So I was like, okay, I ain't coming back here though. You can bet that. It makes me hot, Huh?
I said that's just such an interesting point. I love that you brought that up because even like if you think about like the cost of metal straws or usable bags, like all those things are like in the 5s or the 10s or the 15s and the 20s, and it's like, what if we don't have extra money to spare?
Thank you.
Why does sustainability cost so much when it's gonna like help so much, or like it's gonna decrease? It's crazy.
Yeah.
That is a very good point, and I have some things to say.
Give it to us.
No, it's really annoying because there's actually a term that's going around now. It's called greenwashing, which is basically a whole bunch of companies are like, oh yeah, we're super sustainable and we're like eco-friendly. I'm like, but you're not though, and you're not being transparent about it either. But that's beside the point. What I was trying to say is that these brands are usually the high-end expensive ones, and like they're saying they're sustainable, but they're still using the same prices. So I'm just like, well, where am I? You're not telling the truth, and I'm spending a lot of money. So there's no goal, there's no achievement for me at all. And then also that's for me, like when sustainability is like super expensive like that, I try to drive home the point that for like you don't have to spend a lot of money to do sustainable tasks. I think sustainability should be defined by the individual and what they can do for themselves. Like if you have like 6 kids and you want to like help the earth, you can't afford to go buy this like a 6 metal straws. Just don't use them anymore. That's just like one little thing again, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's crazy. I think it's kind of getting hijacked by like the richer people, the people that can afford this, just because like you were saying, like sustainability clothing brands who are claiming they're sustainable but don't have, the stuff to back it up, but yet their prices are outrageous. I just it's very complicated, I think. And I don't know, complicated and frustrated. When you want to help and be there, but they kind of like price gouge you and like get you out. So
Another thing is, well, for me at least, when I like go online to look for like sustainable stuff, nothing is around me. Everything I have to have shipped to me. So I'm just like, oh, but I don't want to have to like shipping, flying, driving. That's a lot of miles. That's a lot of pollution. So I'm like, what is the point? I might as well just hand make my stuff, but don't have the talent, but it's fine.
wait, hang on. Are you talking about like specifically clothing or like cookware or what's up?
All of the above, because in COVID, people can't go out and buy stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, how do I be sustainable without, whatever? I don't know. But clothing, primarily clothing.
Okay.
I agree with everything that has been said. And it's like, I personally feel like capitalism, just that in itself, is benefiting, like to Aaron's point, like off of sustainability, And like you said, Maya, greenwashing, saying that you're green just to increase your prices. And even if you think about like healthy food options, like a cup of juice from fresh squeezed juice or something like that will be like $8 or something like that. It's like, why? Because
Just make it at home.
I got a juicer recently.
Hey,
I've been going crazy. I've been crazy.
I think the argument to that would be a lot of people would get upset about the quality of the product. I mean, people already get upset about the quality of their products. So if we're talking about a shirt being, as you guys say, what, more recyclable or recyclable shirts, recyclable cottons, I'm not sure if they're really gonna withstand uh, in the environment as much, or I really don't know much about recyclable cottons, but in my mind, I'm thinking if you're just reusing or refurbishing a shirt, grinding it up, doing it all over, it's just not going to be, I guess, it's not going to sustain or be or last as long compared to everything else you have. So wouldn't you guys be upset about that?
That's actually a really interesting point because no, when you pay for sustainable clothing, you're usually not only are you paying for the high quality, so it's going to last a lot longer. You're also paying. This doesn't really relate to what you said, but you're also paying like people who work. You're not paying for like slave labor at all. They're actually getting a livable wage. But besides that, you if I got a t-shirt from Fashion Nova versus like another like actual sustainable brand, the Fashion Nova one 10 times out of 10 will always degrade a lot quicker because it's fast fashion and it's not really made with quality work, and it's only made to look cute once, and then as soon as you wash it, it either shrinks or it rips and it's just not usable anymore. But the sustainable one, because of what they put into it, it'll last you maybe 2-3 years if you actually take care of it.
Great point. Great
Thank
point.
you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some stuff is like outrageous though, I still think. Like the clothing thing, like I do understand that, you pay for quality, you pay for people getting a livable wage, you pay for, stuff that isn't cheap. Like a lot of companies just use cheap products that are just bad for the earth. But when you go with a sustainable company, hopefully they're using like more green products. But like I still don't think like a metal straw should be like any more than $3. Like I don't people be selling like at the farmers market, it'll be like $7 like for a reusable straw. Can't get with it. Never will get with it.
Honestly, we have one at Starbucks. It's like a pack of two. I promise you they're like $10. And I'm like, who just don't use the straw? Like it's ridiculous. It's okay though.
Yeah, factual. Does anyone want to define sustainability? Come on, somebody has to. We just have to give the people like some context on what we're talking about. Like what's sustainable?
I think Maya Shiloh is much more qualified for this definition, considering she is going to grad school, and this is her specialty. So, Maya, why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself and give us a try?
We're gonna give it to the expert of the group.
I shouldn't have told y'all. what is sustainability? As I previously mentioned, I think sustainability is just living within your means to make sure that you're not producing any type of waste. And not any type of waste, but you're just being as resourceful as you can within your own limits.
Great, great. Well, I appreciate everyone for being here today. Well, first, does anyone have any more questions, any more discussion topics? I'm definitely down for it.
No, I just have like a little tidbit. Like you guys can get like TJ Maxx is one store, even though they have fast fashion and everything. But I find a lot of my sustainability like cooking wear and like you could get a pack of what's it called? The metal straws for like $5 if that. And I'm talking about in paper packaging and stuff. And just like they have natural toothpastes and everything. It's for a good price. So I would definitely like hit that up, like them, Ross and Home Goods, to look for like your everyday environmentalism stuff. So yeah.
Cool, cool. Any other sustainable tips, Maya? Just quick little.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, George.
I don't know if this has already been answered. Like, Maya, I got you. What are ways that you guys help our environment economically, socially, environmentally?
We answered this before, but we can give it to you again.
Oh, you're good.
No,
You don't got to do it again. I don't think I was here for that. Let me hear. Let me see. Yeah. No, y'all good. Y'all don't gotta say it again.
Just a quick. We talked about just like, reusable water bottles, taking shorter showers. We talked about in the future like planting, closing the loop. So like if you throw something away, not make sure, but if you want to compost it, do that. We talked about like just the amount of waste in food, just thinking about that. We talked about
But are you doing these things? Are you actually taking action?
yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure y'all doing it.
Well, what are you doing?
Right.
George.
I'm not doing, that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn. You know what I'm saying? Look, you brought up about the shower. Look, the whole shower, I'll start the shower like 3 minutes before I get in. You know what I'm saying? Look, I got a water bottle. I ain't gonna show the brand of the water bottle because people seem to hate on Arrowhead. I'm here to learn.
Not only is this man drinking out of a plastic water, he has the nerve to put an Arrowhead on this screen.
Please tell me what's wrong with Arrowhead. I'm seeing a lot of haters about this water. Is there something that I don't know?
If I had to buy a water bottle, I would buy Arrowhead. But anyway, I would. No,
you said that, Maya.
What I know gets dropped. No, George. What are some ways that leaving this conversation? What are some ways that you will change your habits to be more sustainable or environmentally friendly?
Using less toothpaste. That'll help in plastic consumption.
How about just choosing your toothpaste better and thinking about the packaging?
All right, that way too. I can always do that. I guess not drinking Arrowhead anymore with all you haters around here. And we'll just get a big jug of water.
Everybody on here, we need to, whoever's watching, everybody send $1 to the block so we can get George a Hydro Flask or some type of reusable water bottle.
Yes.
Right. It's hard to clean Hydro Flask, isn't it? Huh? Is it hard to clean? Well, is it hard to clean Hydro Flask? I've never had a Hydro Flask.
No, they are really hard to clean. And I think you have to like buy their special brush in order to clean it, which is just use
I went to the 99-cent store. I got something to put in it.
Exactly.
Twist it. Water.
Okay.
It's clean. It's nothing but water in it. You be fine. I'm just kidding. But we are gonna invest. We're gonna help George out one of these days.
Throw me some bread.
If you see a water bottle in his hand, just slap it out of it, and he'll know what's up. I'm just kidding. Not 0 out of 10. Not recommended. But I really appreciated this conversation. It was really fun. Nice meeting you, Maya. Hope we get to like collaborate in the future, knowing that you'll still be on the campus at SJSU. Definitely want to have an in-person event when we get back to campus and like talk about this on a grand scale. Aaron will be there. We're gonna make sure to have George there again to see, has there been any progression from now to then? Like, it's definitely gonna happen. So
he's gonna be our success story. So George, make a change.
Make a change.
I got to.
He's gonna come up like, this is the toothpaste that I'm using now. This much a day. No. Thank you for sorry, that's my sister. She's
You're
one.
good.
Anyways, thank you for inviting me. I had so much fun. And then since I will be here for like 2 more years, it'll be nice to be able to collaborate with you guys.
Definitely. We'll be happy to have you. We're definitely going to plan that garden event in the future. So love to have you there, leading the conversation, whatever we choose to do.
Please
So,
do, because we just so I'm an ERC director and we are kind of
explain
actually
what that is. I have no clue.
oh, Environmental Resource Center. Take the class. Yeah, no, shameless plug, but we actually just created not well, it's we already have the garden, but we just added our own like little special garden and we're gonna name it. And it's wheelchair accessible, so it's perfect for everybody to go. We handpick the flowers, it's really beautiful. So any garden stuff, I'm definitely down to help out. So
Thank you. Thank you. So without further ado, we'll end this, but I'm really thankful for this conversation. It's been really fun, very insightful. I hope whoever's watching took away something. If not, please let us know what you want to know. So in the future, we could get into it. But thank you all for being here and thank you for watching.
Thank you, Ari.
Of course, always.
Thank you, Ari.